Borussia Dortmund is undoubtedly one of the biggest clubs in Germany, with them winning many league titles, DFB Pokal Cups, and even a Champions League trophy in their history. But in the past decade, Dortmund have failed to win the Bundesliga League Title, oftentimes losing to other German giants Bayern Munich, who've had a stranglehold of the league for many years now. In fact, the last time BVB won the league was back in 2012 when Jurgen Klopp was still the coach of the team. It's been a very long time since then. However, back in the 2022-23 season, there was a big opportunity for Borussia Dortmund to break free from this Bayern Munich stranglehold and win the league title, with them actually leading the league up until the final match day. But Borussia Dortmund somehow didn't end up winning it, and Bayern Munich did instead. So how did Dortmund fumble such an amazing opportunity to win the Bundesliga title for the first time in around a decade, and instead suffer from the worst choke in German football history? Well, let's take a look. Now off the bat, I have to say that this might have been one of the most entertaining Bundesliga seasons of all time, with there being so many title contenders throughout the campaign. Like by match day 8, although both Bayern and Dortmund were tied on points with 15, they were both lower than Union Berlin, who was on top of the table, and Freiburg, who was in second. Then by match day 18, first and fourth place on the table were all 1 point apart, with Bayern having 37 points, Union Berlin with 36, RB Leipzig coming out of nowhere with 35, and Dortmund having 34. By match day 21, there was a three-way race at the top of the table with Bayern, Dortmund, and Union Berlin all being tied on top with 43 points. But by the time match day 22 came around, there started to be a separation, with the two big German giant clubs being ahead of the rest. And that's where we'll start the story. Both Bayern and Dortmund would win their next games, with Bayern defeating Stuttgart away from home 2-1, and Dortmund defeating a former title contender RB Leipzig 2-1 at home. Eventually though, on match day 24, Dortmund would slip up first to one of their biggest rivals in Germany, Schalke, and drew to them 2-2 away from home, while Bayern glided by Augsburg 5-3, and this gave Bayern a 2-point advantage on the league table. But Bayern wouldn't be able to run away with the league title this time, because in the following game week, Bayern lost to Bayer Leverkusen 2-1 in shocking fashion, while Dortmund on the other hand destroyed FC Köln 6-1, and this gave them the lead on the league table by 1 point. But Dortmund wouldn't have an easy fixture of games to create a gap between themselves and Bayern, because in the very next game on match day 26, they had to play Bayern Munich, and the Bayern hierarchy was pissed that Dortmund were still in the title race with them, so they actually sacked their manager at the time, Julian Nagelsmann, and hired former Dortmund coach Thomas Tuchel to take charge of them. Another Dortmund affiliated person joins the rivals Bayern Munich, a tale as old as time. I played these games before! But now with all of that out of the way, the biggest match of the season will commence between these two sides. And it didn't end up well for Borussia Dortmund. In fact, in the 12th minute, the unimaginable happened, with a black and yellow goalkeeper Gregor Kobel completely missing the ball in an easy clearance and conceding a goal to Bayern Munich. What the absolute fuck did I just witness there? Then 6 minutes later, De Ligt would head the ball into Thomas Muller, who would put the ball in to give Bayern an early 2-goal advantage. But then 5 minutes after that, Kobel saves the shot, but rebounds the ball to Muller, who tucked in another goal to make it 3-0 for Bayern in 23 minutes. And although Borussia Dortmund would score 2 goals later in the second half, it wouldn't matter, because Bayern Munich would eventually win this top of the table clash 4-2 and regain their spot on the top of the table with 55 points, while Dortmund were stuck on 53. Then in the following game week, both Dortmund and Bayern Munich would win their respective games, with Dortmund beating third place side at the time Union Berlin 2-1. Finally, Dortmund didn't crumble under the pressure of a big game, while Bayern would win against a very good Freiburg side away from home 1-0. Then over to match day 28 is when things got interesting again in the 22-23 Bundesliga title race. You see, Dortmund had to play relegation candidate Stuttgart away from home, and considering Dortmund are fighting for the league title, this should have been an easy 3 points for them. However, nothing is easy when it comes to Borussia Dortmund, because although Dortmund would maintain a 2-0 lead for the majority of the match, thanks to 2 first half goals from Sebastian Aller and Daniel Malen, Dortmund did what they do best, and that's capitulating late into the second half, with Koulibaly on Stuttgart scoring from the edge of the box in the 78th minute, and then Wagnerman scoring in the 48th minute off an unlucky rebound from a Dortmund player. Dortmund needed a hero if they didn't want to lose their chances of winning the league title, and who else but the American Gio Reyna to save the day, because just when it got dark, Reyna came out of nowhere in the 90+2nd minute and scored in what seemed like a late winner for the black and yellow. But we should have known better, because Dortmund's defense still sucks, and in the 90+7th minute, they conceded to Mvumpa, and the game ended in a 3-3 draw. You can't keep getting away with it! So with Dortmund dropping points, Bayern had the chance of running away with the league title. But neither of these teams had any desire in doing that, because in the Champions League, Man City slapped the hell out of Bayern Munich in the first leg of the quarterfinal 3-0. And this caused some drama in the Bayern locker room, with Sadio Mane allegedly punching Leroy Sané. I low-key don't know whether this ever got confirmed or not, but considering Sadio Mane got shipped off to Al Nassr in the summer after just 1 season at Bayern Munich, I think we all could guess whether this actually happened or not. Anyways, after that embarrassing defeat, Bayern had to play Hoffenheim at home, and although Pavard gave Bayern the early lead, Kramaric would equalize in the 71st minute, and the game game would end as a 1-1 draw, meaning both Dortmund and Bayern drew in their matches, and there was still only a 2-point gap between the two on matchday 28. But on matchday 29, the surprises will continue, because Bayern had to travel away to play Mainz, a side who was surprisingly playing very well in the season. But Bayern were obviously expected to win this game, and when they took the lead thanks to Sadio Mane in the 29th minute, it seemed like they were going to cruise their way to 3 points. But we were wrong, oh so very wrong, because in the second half, Mainz balled out, with Ayorke scoring for Mainz in the 65th minute for the 4th game in a row off a bad rebound from Sommer, then Leandro Barreiro scoring a finish from a one-on-one situation in the 73rd minute, and then finally Aaron Martin scoring in the 79th minute to top off this great Mainz performance with a 3-1 victory for the home side over the title favorites Bayern Munich. And this was a surprising shock to everybody, to say the least. But Borussia Dortmund would have the tough task of playing Eintracht Frankfurt this same weekend. And if you know anything about Dortmund, is that anytime they have the chance of taking a step forward, they do the opposite and take a step backwards. But not this time, because actually, Borussia Dortmund would easily squeak past Eintracht Frankfurt 4-0. Surprising, I know. And now took Bayern's place on top of the Bundesliga League table with 5 games to go, leading just by one singular point. Was this finally time for Borussia Dortmund to secure the league title? Could this finally be their year? No, because in the very next game, Borussia Dortmund somehow drew to VfL Bochum, a relegation candidate this season, 1-1.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Now, there were some interesting decisions in this game by the referee, like a penalty that wasn't called. But it's Bochum, bruh. You should be scoring at least 4 goals in this game if you're Borussia Dortmund. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. And things actually got worse for the black and yellow too, because Bayern Munich easily swept past Hertha Berlin 2-0 at home, a side that actually finished last place in the Bundesliga this season. So with that being said, Bayern went back on top of the Bundesliga table with 62 points compared to Dortmund's 61. Now, the next couple of game weeks would proceed normally for both teams, with Bayern beating Werder Bremen 2-1 away from home, while Dortmund completely dismantled Wolfsburg 6-0 at home on matchday 31, and then on matchday 32, it was Bayern's turn to score 6, this time against Schalke, while Dortmund easily glided by the other Borussia, Mönchengladbach 5-2, and with there only being 2 more games left for both teams, it seemed like Bayern Munich could possibly have the Bundesliga title in the bag for the 11th year in a row. But there was a twist in the story, because on the second to last match day, on matchday 33, Bayern had the difficult task of playing RB Leipzig. Now yes, even though Bayern were playing in the Allianz Arena, RB Leipzig were on fire this season, and they were actually in 3rd place, fighting to stay in the Champions League spot, which just made them hungrier to go out and get a result against Bayern, while Dortmund on the other hand had to play a mid-table side in FC Augsburg, so the pressure was on. And for what felt like the first time in forever, Bayern would be the side that would crumble under the pressure. Now, although Bayern Munich got the early lead in this match thanks to a wonderful Serge Gnabry strike in the 25th minute, RB Leipzig would wake up in the second half, and after Leipzig pounced on a counterattack from a Bayern corner kick in the 69th minute, the ball would end up at Konrad Leimer's feet, who was about to join Bayern in a couple months' time, and he would shoot the ball into the back of the net to equalize the game 1-1. Then in the 76th minute, it went from bad to worse for Bayern, with Pavard fouling Nkunku in the box, and Nkunku slammed the ball in from the spot to make it 2-1 Leipzig. Later in the 86th minute, the ball would hit Bayern's Mazraoui in the box, and Leipzig would be given another penalty, in which this time, Dominik Szoboszlai would convert it to win the game for RB Leipzig 3-1 away from home at Bayern Munich. A devastating defeat for Bayern on the second to last match day, and this defeat looked like they lost the Bundesliga title, with RB Leipzig helping Dortmund out with a massive favor. Literally, Szoboszlai FaceTimed his friend Karim Adeyemi, a Dortmund player, after the game, which shows that RB Leipzig knew they helped out Dortmund massively, and Szoboszlai also did his celebration in the game. So with that, it literally seemed almost guaranteed that Dortmund will win the Bundesliga this season, especially after an uncharacteristic Dortmund fashion. They didn't crumble under the pressure and beat Augsburg away from home 3-0 a day later to take a 2-point lead at the top of the table with 1 more game to go. All Dortmund needed to do was beat Mainz at home on the final match day, and the Bundesliga trophy was theirs. And even if they didn't win, all they needed was for Bayern to draw or lose away to FC Köln, and they would still win the league. And I can't lie, I was really hoping that Borussia Dortmund could pull this off. Dortmund is a team that I actually really like. They sing "You'll Never Walk Alone," which reminds me of Liverpool, of course, and they resemble things I like in a team. A passionate fan base with a yellow wall, no oil money from the owners, which means they also don't have an unlimited budget, a talented and exciting team always, just everything I like. Not only that, Jurgen Klopp was the ex-coach at Dortmund and he came to us, Liverpool, but just because of that connection, I just want to see Dortmund do well. Not only that, selfishly as an American man like myself, Dortmund loves giving a platform to young American ballers. They did it for Pulisic, they're doing it for Gio Reyna, although admittedly it's been up and down for him, and now they're doing it for Cole Campbell, who's had senior team minutes this season, and they also have a young American baller in their academy right now, Matisse Albert. So Dortmund for me is a team that I really like, and I was ready for them to finally vanquish their demons in Bayern Munich, a team that's literally taken everything and everybody from them, and win the trophy that's been swerving BVB for a decade, the Bundesliga League title. I wanted to see Marco Reus happy for once, winning his first league title for the club he stayed loyal to. I wanted to see Jude Bellingham leave the black and yellow in the most perfect way possible, delivering them a league title. There were so many beautiful and touching storylines with Dortmund winning the Bundesliga, and that's why I just desperately wanted to see them win it, and I was ready for this to happen, and I thought that even Dortmund could have fumbled such an amazing opportunity like this, but Everything went wrong. Literally from the jump in the 15th minute, Dortmund conceded a goal from a corner kick due to an Andreas Hache Olsen header in front of the yellow wall and went down 1-0. But you know what? It's still early in the match. Surely Dortmund will have the opportunity to turn this around. And they did. Literally 3 minutes later in the 18th minute, they were awarded a penalty. And the man who battled cancer and fought his way back up to the starting 11 of Dortmund, Sebastian Aller, stepped up to take the penalty. And he calmly slotted it. Aw, hell no, this isn't going to be Dortmund's day, huh? And I'd be right, because literally 6 minutes later in the 24th minute, Karim Onisiwo gets an open header in the box and tucks it away to bring Mainz a 2-0 lead away from home in just the first 24 minutes in a must-win match for Borussia Dortmund. And want to know what makes things worse for Dortmund? Bayern Munich were beating Köln at that moment in time 1-0 thanks to an 8th minute goal from Kingsley Coman, which meant that Bayern were ahead of Dortmund in the title race and were set to win their 11th Bundesliga title in a row.
It's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good.
But all hope wasn't lost yet, because in the second half in the 69th minute, funny number, Dortmund finally got 1 goal back thanks to Rafael Guerreiro. Crazy because he switched up to Bayern Munich after this. But anyways, back to the story. They now needed 2 more goals to secure the league title for themselves. Or did they? Because actually in the 81st minute in the match between Köln and Bayern, Köln were awarded a penalty due to a handball on the edge of the box, and it was calmly converted by Lubicic, which meant that with Bayern being held to a tie, Dortmund were once again in the lead for the league title. Yes, even though Dortmund can't handle the pressure of a must-win game, FC Köln, our Lord and Savior, was gonna rescue us. This can finally be the year that Dortmund wins the league title. It was gonna happen. We were all ready to sing Kumbaya and drink around the campfire, singing jolly songs and celebrating the fact that Dortmund were gonna pull off the heist and win the Bundesliga for the first time since 2012. Finally. Finally!
Musiala!
No. Wait.
Yeah, Musiala scored a last-minute winner against FC Köln in the 89th minute. And although Dortmund got 1 more goal back in the 9+6 minute thanks to Niklas Süle, with Bayern Munich winning their game, Dortmund would need a win, and they failed to get that with the game ending in a 2-2 draw. So with Bayern winning their match 2-1 and Dortmund drawing 2-2, Bayern would jump ahead of Dortmund and finish first place in the Bundesliga only due to goal difference, since both teams were tied with 71 points. Borussia Dortmund, how could this happen? This was supposed to be a night of celebration, not a night of depression, tears, and sadness. The Yellow Wall deserved the league title. Dortmund should have won the league title, and yet Bayern Munich did it for the 11th year in a row. Football is a cruel, cruel sport. Bellingham didn't get his perfect send-off. Marco Reus left Dortmund without ever winning the Bundesliga with them, despite being extremely loyal to them. And Dortmund haven't competed for a league title since. I want to know what makes this even worse? The very next season, Bayer Leverkusen did the unthinkable and won the Bundesliga for the first time in their history, ending Bayern's dominance in Germany, and did so undefeated. How did Leverkusen win the league title in their first time at asking, while Dortmund couldn't after knocking on the door for 11 straight years? Pain, man, pain. Borussia Dortmund might be the Tottenham Hotspur of Germany. Actually, that's too insulting. At least Dortmund still wins trophies like the DFB Pokal Cup here or there. But still, Dortmund pulled off the impossible, choking the Bundesliga title in extremely embarrassing fashion, thus stamping their name on being the team that had the worst choke in German football history. They're just way too good at choking. Pause. Anyways, what are your guys' thoughts on Borussia Dortmund fumbling the Bundesliga title in the worst way possible? Do y'all think Dortmund can win the Bundesliga at least once in the next 10 years? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Also, follow my Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and join the Discord community. All the links are in my YouTube description. And last but not least, if you want to learn about Kylian Mbappe turning around his poor start at Real Madrid, you definitely want to check out this video right here. You won't regret it.